Okay, Algebra 2, this is Unit 12, Day 3 notes. We're trying to convert between radians and degrees. All right, a lot of you are familiar with degrees, not so much with radians. All right, radians are just another way of measuring angles, essentially. The first part of the notes, I try to talk about what is a radian, where does it come from? The same pictures in your notes, basically. All right, they give you a diagram, some angle theta. R is the radius of some circle. S is the arc length. All right, some letters in there, don't get confused with all those. Theta is essentially S divided by R. All right, it comes right out of the textbook definition, essentially. Some of the stuff you can think about, let's think about like a whole circle for a quick second. All right, how many degrees are in a full circle and arc length of a full circle? That's essentially the circumference, right? So some review from way back when. Circumference of a circle is pi times diameter, or 2 pi r, same thing. All right, 2 times the radius is the same as diameter. Some other things, so, well, this is S right now in this picture, right? If I talk about a full circle, arc length, the total circumference is 2 pi r. How many degrees are in a circle, though? That's 360 degrees. So I could say, let's convert this to 360. Well, S we just said is 2 pi r. And this is r divided by r. So those r's can cancel out. So 360 degrees is the same as 2 pi radians. All right, it's essentially your conversion right there. Once you know that conversion, you can convert pretty much anything. All right, so let's cut them in half. Like, what's 180 degrees? Well, that's half of 360. So what's half of 2 pi? That's just pi. All right, there's a bunch of them in your notes. Main two right there, though. Those are the main two to know. All right, 180 degrees is pi. There's a bunch of conversions, but there's a few shortcuts as well. All right, there are some questions about this arc length. Use this S equals theta R formula. Again, S is the arc length, theta is the angle. Make sure it's in radians. R is the radius. All right, not so much on delta math or would have been on the regions, but good to know anyways. All right, biggest thing though about the notes is converting. All right, so how to convert between the two. Convert from radians to degrees and vice versa. All right, there are some buttons on your calculator. If you want to look that up, Google it, go ahead. The easiest way to do it though, set up a proportion. All right, I would say pi is to 180. All right, kind of like we just said here, as radians are to degrees. It's a little bit of work, but it'll work every time and it always gets the right answer. A couple examples, if you're looking at the notes, like number 3A, says your theta is 30 degrees. What is that in radians? Well, I'll just plug it in. 30 degrees, so I know pi is to 180. Radians, I don't know, we call it x if you want, whatever. I know this is 30. Easy, how do you solve a proportion? I would cross multiply. So this is 30 pi equals 100 times radians, or call it x if you want to, I guess. How do you solve for x? Just divide by 180. So 30 degrees is the same as 30 pi over 180. Again, you could simplify that if you want. All right, that's the same as pi over 6. All right, lots of times they do not simplify this. They'll leave it as pi over 6 radians. You could put it in a calculator, but don't need to usually. All right, so all that means 30 degrees is the same as pi over 6 radians. Lots of examples in the notes. Get good at that. All right, you'll see that quite a bit throughout the packet. If we're going the other way, say I give you radians and say you find degrees. Next page. If you have the notes, this is number 4. We can do another letter A, I guess. They tell me my theta is 5 pi over 6. Convert that to degrees. Well, you could do the whole thing if you wanted to. Pi is to 180 as radians. In this case, 5 pi over 6 is to degrees. I'm going to call that x. It's lots of work, cross multiply, all that. Eventually you would get an answer, all right? I'll give you the shortcut right off the bat. First thing we did was pi is what? Pi is 180, right? Pi radians is 180 degrees. So pi is 180. So every time I see a pi, I can stick a 180 in there. So this theta really equals 5 times 180 over 6, whatever that equals. Should be 150. Alright, quick shortcut. There's lots of other shortcuts. Alright, I would just stick to the formula. Unless you're going from radians to degrees, then you can use pi as 180 every time. Alright. Short and sweet, that's all for day 3.